What's up, peeps? Back again with the COVID cabal. We're back again. We are back again with the COVID cabal. Back again, COVID cabal. Back again, COVID cabal. Back again, COVID cabal. Back again, back again, back again. What is up, my people? What is up, my people? We are back again with the COVID cabal. Back again. What's up, Vic? What's up, my man? When you're in, drop a comment in the chat. When you are in, drop a comment in the chat. What's up? What's up? What's up? Back again. COVID cabal. Back again. Back again. My man Jeff, drinking that good boxed wine. Brovid cabal. It's because we are the Brovid cabal. Blame the sky. Yo, what's up, my man? What's up, my man? When you guys are in, drop a comment in the chat. We are here with the COVID cabal. We're back. The Brovid cabal. Gonna keep this one nice and tight tonight because it's just trying to cram this one in real quick. Just a quick one. Just a quickie. Just a quickie. Robin Town, what's up, my man? Steve G, what's up? What's up? When you guys are in, drop a comment in the chat. Yeah, just a little quickie here. Got a few things to talk about. You know, lots happened. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Jeff. I do appreciate that. It's we're gonna keep it quick. We're gonna keep it quick tonight, so you'll be able to get back to your Ferrari game. You're at Ferrari video, Ferrari 330 P4. It's pretty sweet. I finally got a car actually. I've been like bumming off of old trash cars from my parents. Finally got a car, first time ever. Because you know I didn't need one. I was living in Philly or I was living in New York. When I was living in Philly, I had this old beater. 93 Mercury Tracer. So it's pretty cool to actually end up. Elvis, seriously, it's not going to be long tonight. In fact, I might even just jump in now that we're at 15. I actually saw the end of the Phillies game. I never ever see the Phillies, but caught the game, end of the game tonight. All right, guys, let's just jump in. Whatever. What difference does it make? So look. We are on, like, there we go, 24 right there. Perfect timing. All right, we are on the verge. We're in the precipice, maybe, as they say. I'm just gonna like state a couple of quick facts and talk about just very briefly the possibilities, because basically where we're at is, let's talk about the Astro first. Without going too much into the details, I think it's suffice to say that Tuesday is a solar eclipse, and 2 Tuesdays later is the midterms, which is a lunar eclipse. And I expect extremely wild stuff to occur during this time period. And then to a lesser extent in the week aftermath of the election. So we're looking at 2 to 3 week window where I think if we're going to see some action, it's going to happen. Everything's been building up to it. If you look at Ukraine, let's talk just real quickly about Ukraine. Massive battle for Kherson. Russians alluding to the possibility of a dirty bomb being let off. But the Ukrainians admitted to be trying to build one. NATO forces are mobilized, apparently, to go into Ukraine if necessary. Nikolaev has been evacuated the civilian population, which is very strange, considering the Russians are not in a position to advance, at least as far as we know. They're in a defensive posture in Kherson. So, suffice to say, in Ukraine, we see the possibility of things escalating dramatically. NATO getting involved and or a nuke going off. And this battle of Kherson is really like the Ukrainian army's last big push. They're making this really, really big push before the reservists come in. I think that's very likely we could see NATO move into Odessa and or Belarus and Western Ukraine. Possible. Who knows? We have a Russian army unit developed with operational insignia on the border with Kiev. So, yeah, a lot could blow up there. And I'm expecting it to hit. Like within the next 2 weeks. Because understand, like, we've always been saying events not dates, and that's true. But the midterms create a tension point where so you have all these things that have been developing, fights that are inevitably going to occur, but now they have to happen in this concentrated period because the cabal needs a win in Ukraine prior to the midterms, and the Russians have their own objectives to make things worse for them prior to the midterms. So you see that there's a high likelihood of escalation at this exact moment. So we have that. Jeff, that's very interesting about the Iraqi dinar, the dinar reinstatement. I mean, I'm expecting the same thing on the economic front to occur within the next 2 weeks. It's possible that it won't happen until the Fed raises, maybe they raise more than people are expecting, and then the market finally realizes that the Fed isn't going to pivot, and then things just collapse. There's a million things that could happen. The stuff in Ukraine could also do the same thing. But the point is, so we have Ukraine, things are coming to a head. We have economically, things are coming to a head. And then we have the Trump arrest. The J6 committee just basically said that we've reviewed like millions and millions of documents, whatever, footage, and come to the conclusion that Trump tried to block the transition of power. So, Trump arrest, imminent. What else do we have here? I know I'm missing at least one big thing. Economics, military, politically, domestically. Yeah, Jeff, I have to think that they're doing that for a timing reason. They don't want it to break quite yet. They're sending some mixed signals. That would be my suspicion. And then we have Kanye, of course. Kanye waking people up. Kanye making his big pivot. I don't really know much what to talk about besides for that. A lot of people say, is he genuine? Is he not genuine? I think it kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. I obviously, weigh all this stuff. But if I had to make a guess about Kanye, that he was someone who they tried to buy off. MK Ultra maybe had Kim Kardashian as a handler and just did not work in the end. I think he's very resistant, very resilient towards it. So they're going after him, going after Elon, making enemies everywhere they go. So, oh yeah, another thing that we could be looking for is a false flag domestically. Hope that's not going to happen. Really, really hope that's not going to happen. But I could totally see them doing some right-wing false flag shit with like Patriot Front, something like that. Very concerned about that. But that would give him a pretense to do all sorts of shenanigans, try to polarize people in their favor. Anything's possible, but the point is, we got this 2-week window where it's all coming to a head. It's all coming to a head. Bob, what's going on, my man? Yeah, cyber attacks definitely a possibility. Also heard this stuff about this new monkeypox or COVID that's like 80% resistant, or 80% lethal, something like that. I don't know if that's BS. Guys, I don't know. I don't think any of us know, but I can tell you this. I think we're all fucking ready. We're ready to see some stuff. We're ready to see a turn, you know? We're ready to see a turn. We're ready to see. There's been so much tension. I don't know if you guys have felt it. The tension's felt as much as it's felt since, I would say, January last year, January 2021. Yeah. So that's what I've got, man. That's what I've got. I don't even want to. I don't even want to say much more. That's what I mean. It's going to be a short one. We just got to sit back and stay out of trouble, and watch it happen. Watch it happen if it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see some stuff. But, we covered this 4 areas, right? That there's going to be stuff that we didn't see. We never would have seen coming. That's going to happen. It is 2020 type energy again. It's that sort of November through January energy. Things are really, really tense. They're tense in Europe with all the problems with the governments. I mean, look at the UK going through multiple governments. There's been more and more riots. Guys, we're just getting started. It's going to be a crazy winter. It's going to be a really crazy winter. So you guys have any questions for me? Any questions for me? I just want to check in with you guys. It's been a while. They arrested Bannon, right? Sentencing him. Maybe he'll be able to appeal it and the sentencing will get blocked. But Bob, things are okay with me. Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. I'll talk about that maybe another time. But I just say I have a trial date set for June. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the meantime. But, doesn't necessarily, there's a lot of options up in the air at the moment about, whether we go that long. So, yeah, Alex Jones and Kanye. I mean, these are all, look, it's weaponized. The whole thing is weaponized right now. Like, you're going to give Alex Jones a $2 billion civil suit. I mean, it's just to shut down free speech. This is the thing that I don't think people understand, is that we're at the point where if things don't get turned around, it's not going to be possible to, I don't know how to say it. It's just going to go, I think we're going to see if there really are organized white hats who are capable of stuff. And I believe that there are, right? I 100% believe that there are. But we're going to have to see some proof of that. We'll have to see it. The tension is so insane. She gets vibes just through the pictures of homes and other objects. Yeah, man. I'm hunkering down, That's for me, that's what I'm doing. I had the 21 convention in Orlando, and even before it started, I was just like, man, I just got to get back home. I just was feeling like I got to get back home. It's just, there's too much. There's too much going on. There's too much about to happen. So yeah, guys, we're on the precipice, I think, we always say that, and then the tension gets amped up even further. You think it can't get any more tense. Then it gets more tense. But the midterms are really, really pivotal for a lot of reasons. And so we don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to postpone, if there's going to be fraud, what's the move. I think they have a couple different options, but people keep figuring them out, and if they get figured out, they lose their effectiveness. Jeff, I completely agree with you. I don't think that they are. I think that they have tenuous control, but it's like the kind of control where they realize they're about to lose it, so they're really rushing. They're really aggressive. Pat, where do you think Trump stands right now? He comes back before midterms? No, I don't think Trump comes back for a while. We don't need Trump to come back right now. We just need there to be some moves. We either need a clean election, relatively clean election, relatively clean enough, or if there's some postponing or some sort of, you know, active attempt to start a civil war, we're going to see, we need to see that there are these factions in the military who are going to do something. Are they going to do something to prevent the country from being stolen? Are they going to do something to stop a nuclear war from occurring? I mean, we don't know if these people exist, but we have a pretty good sense they do. So, I mean, if the election's postponed, and if there's about to be a nuclear exchange and they don't make a move, then we have to say they don't exist, right? But one of the things I was thinking about is if the military were to do something, the military won't be fully unified, so it's going to be messy even internally. I think it won't be like terrible. I think that most of the rank and file, but you'd have a lot of generals and stuff that they would make moves against, that they would arrest. Just speculating. But it's not going to be like, we know that a lot of the military has been infiltrated, so don't expect it to be like 100% military's all on the same page. I don't expect that. But it might not be super long that certain units are not in agreement with other units. We got some ways to go before Pluto enters Aquarius this March. That's what I'll say. I think we're all looking for some action, but I don't expect it to be super, super clean. I expect it to not be like a total clusterfuck, but anyone who says it's going to be super, super clean hasn't seen a real war. It's never clean. The propaganda is terrible. By the way, remember Juan kept saying that they needed to get to 80+%? We had a poll recently that said Biden was at 19% approval. Jose, we are way more awake. The consciousness is way higher. Even though many people have dropped in consciousness, more people have risen in consciousness, and also the energetic effect of people rising in consciousness is much more powerful than the energetic effect of people dropping it. So, Jeff, I mostly agree with that. I mean, is it possible that Trump comes back officially in 2024? Sure, but it's not going to happen in 2023. It's not going to happen in 2023. There's just going to have to be so many things that change. So we will see. I think that we're going to see the real big awakening when Pluto enters Aquarius. We have just a massive winter of suffering ahead of us. It's my perspective. A lot of suffering this winter. Because it's that suffering. The mask has to completely come off in order for people to get it. The mask is slipping, but it's not completely off to the normies and the public. So guys, that's pretty much it. Hey man, yes, hopeful with your sibling. The only way to go about dealing with it is to be kind to him, and don't, and if you can't be kind to him, then stay away from him. But don't argue with him. It's low consciousness. I've made these mistakes. Don't fight with your family. You can try a Socratic method to an extent and just ask questions. But usually it's like an emotional reason. It's usually an emotional issue that gets people really invested in propaganda. Like there's like people who are asleep, they don't see it. That's one thing. And then you have people who get really, really addicted to the propaganda. That's an emotional dysregulation. there's obviously an overlap, but real investment in propaganda is an emotional dysregulation. Pluto is a planet again. Yeah. So that's what I would just say, man. Paul's take on the next few months, buckle up. He agrees that there's a lot coming these next 2 weeks, but then there's a lot coming in the spring as well. I haven't talked to him about the winter. So, thanks, Bob. You too, my man. I know we're in a similar boat here. Yeah, Steve, 100%. There's just no point arguing. And to what Rich is saying here, I mean, the gap is so wide. It's almost like I just came back from a family party. It was great to spend time with the family, but many times I just felt like, well, what can I'm like looking at this stuff. I'm like, what is there to talk about? What's there to talk about? Jeff, PTSD can be dealt with exposure therapy, but you have to do it in a really gradual way, in a controlled way. Otherwise, it'll just re-traumatize deeper. But yeah, you have to approach trauma in order to heal from it. That's the thing. You have to approach trauma in order to heal from it. Otherwise, it has power over you behind the scenes. And yeah, there's huge PTSD, and COVID was really brutal with it. I mean, look, if you get lied to and abused, like we wonder why are a lot of people asleep. I mean, they're just like Stockholm syndrome. Like they on a certain level, they know that they've been abused. But this is just how they process it. It's how they handle it. It's different than us. That's why you gotta try to have some compassion for them. I know it's tough, but you gotta have some compassion for them. So, all right, guys. What was her comment on inflation recently? Something probably no problem. It's all good. Inflation's great. Yeah, guys. I'm sure we'll talk later this week because there'll be some stuff I expect. I'll be very shocked if we get to a week from now and if nothing happens in this first week. I'll be very surprised. So it wasn't an inflation issue, but rent was just too expensive. It's just too funny. Jose, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate all of you. I love all you guys. You guys are great. It's been a long journey. I think we're ready to see the next phase here. So we'll definitely check in a week. There's no question about that. Might even pop in a bit earlier, depending on how big things are, but 100% within the next week. So, all right. I'll see you guys. Take care, fam. Take care.